It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and over 35 podcast platforms, including iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful trio from the southern area, which is Southern Americana. They are James Tyler Cody, Jacob Dedham, and Chris Bavacqua. You never heard of these guys? We are going to, after this program, where we got some sex appeal for you, along with some rhythm and brews, and looking forward to some great music by these guys. These are just hot from the South, and ladies and gentlemen, live from deep in the South, we have the next best thing, the Blue Trees. Guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good afternoon, Mike.
Hey, doing great, guys. Thanks for being on board. So you guys have been around for a little bit as well, too. You've had like a huge influence originally from Birmingham, Alabama, and of course you've been doing it since like 2015, and you guys were with Spectra Records. You guys sound like almost a combination. Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Eagles, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Led Zeppelin, and Waylon Jennings, and I kind of like to have that myself too. So, all right, before we get into,
absolutely,
yeah, and before we get into music as well too. So, guys, tell us how you got started as a band, the Blue Trees, and how'd you get the name?
Well, we started back in 2015. Me and this is Jacob talking, but me and James had met back in 2015, and we had started a solo project, and it was like a more acoustic type music, and made a demo album. And then James was just kind of like, "Hey, let's add to the band and let's try to grow it." So over the course of a couple years, we ended up bringing in our older bass player and older drummer that we had at the time. And since then, those guys have been replaced with new members. And just kind of been a rocking experience and rolling and just putting albums out and just kind of getting the momentum built and stuff. But, yeah.
It sounds like... Go ahead. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, this is James talking now. So, yeah, I'll never forget when we first met, like you said, it was back in 2015 in the spring. And within, it was probably maybe 20 or 30 minutes of meeting each other, we wrote one of our first songs. And that's kind of like typically been our story. You know, we can just get in a room, start playing something on an acoustic or something. Jacob thinks of just amazing lyrics right on the spot. It just blows my mind, you know. And, you know, since then I kind of knew the Blue Trees, this is kind of the trajectory we were supposed to be on and what we're supposed to do.
Yes, sir. And then this past year, we've actually brought in, I guess it's been almost 2 years since you've been a part?
Almost two
now. We brought Mr. Chris in. He was kind of our northern implant that we brought into the band. He's from Jersey originally and grew up there and stuff. And then we all met here in Nashville, and he came on and has really just contributed a lot to our sound and, you know, just holding down the low end and just bringing some really good live, vibey essences to our shows, too.
That is amazing. And Chris, since you all came up from the north and everything, how does it feel, you know, being in South compared to being up in New Jersey?
Oh, I like it a lot better. It's warmer, people are nicer, and the music is better. So it's a good place to be.
I think that's a given as well, too. And, of course, guys, we're going to ask you individually, how'd you guys get started in music as well, too? James, tell us how you got started in terms of music.
So I guess my first endeavors really started back in elementary school when I joined my school's beginner band. I was really drawn to the drums and percussion first, so I spent probably a good 5 to 6 years throughout middle school and high school really just getting into the whole drum world, and I kind of naturally started picking up guitar, I guess, when I was maybe 12. I think, honestly, Hell's Bells was the first song I learned to play by AC/DC, and it's like, since then, it's like that's kind of been like in my soul, like this is what I'm supposed to do. So all throughout high school, I'll do like church bands and like play in, you know, stuff like that, churches and, you know, the typical garage band on the side outside of the school band and stuff. And that's kind of been it for me. You know, after high school, I continued on with one of my first bands for about a year or two and kind of kept the momentum going. And then when I decided to go back to college for music specifically, that kind of set me on a new path to really like start taking stuff more seriously in terms of my craft and my playing, really specifically with like classical and like some jazz influence that's kind of played into like my main rock style and stuff. So that's kind of been it, you know, and I met Jacob and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm. And Jacob, tell us how you got started career-wise.
Man, so I guess I'm going back, all the way to the third grade maybe. I remember getting into hip-hop. In the third grade, I would go into the gymnasium where I went to school at, and we would make beats and stuff on the ground with pencils, and I started freestyle rapping and stuff, and it kind of was just like a weird thing. And then, you know, obviously the good family times of riding in the car and singing Usher with Mom and everything. But it was really cool to kind of see how that developed and the influences and stuff I was taking in as a child. And then I never did anything with it, you know, up until I guess I would have been 22 at the time. And before that, I had actually been doing some ministry stuff, actually as a worship, like doing worship stuff, and in school at Lee University at a place in Coleman, Alabama. It was through like online ministry, and it's kind of funny because now I'm singing rock and roll. Some people would say it's the devil's work, but weird things he's been, but in a good way though. I mean, it's been cool to see how I've been able to have these opportunities and things open up with the band and to be able to fall in that. And then I released a single back in 2014, and I sold about 15,000 copies of it, and it was played all over the radio in South Florida and stuff. And then shortly after that, I met Mr. James Cody, and we started forming the Blue Trees, and it's just been a steady, awesome experience and growing. So it's really this is the first band I'm sang in, and it's kind of been cool to just be like, hey, this is the first and the only band. So it's been neat.
One of those things, when you know it, you know it. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing I got to say is, Jacob, praise God in that one.
Absolutely. That's it, man.
Oh, okay, Chris, let's go to you now. Tell us who you got started career-wise.
Well, I got started just about the same way they did back when I was a kid. Started playing piano when I was, 4 or 5 years old, and stuck with it for a while. And then I played in a few bands through high school, released some music, and I found out that it wasn't really what I wanted to do. I decided I wanted to be in Nashville, so I made the move from Jersey to Nashville, went to college at Belmont, and that's where I met James. He kind of brought us all together, I guess. Mm-hmm. I met James, and he asked me to come jam with the Blue Trees, and I did, and we hit it off like the first day, and the rest is kind of history from there.
That is something, how you guys all come together. And there was one question I did ask. I wasn't sure I forgot an answer, but I can ask again. Maybe it kind of went by me. How'd you come up with the name of the Blue Trees and the meaning of it?
So we were actually, and this was back in 2015, we were down in Pelham, Alabama, shooting a music video for one of the first songs we wrote, and there was a store, at the time we didn't have a name when we were doing that, and there was just a store called like Blue Tree or something. It was some type of, makeup or some woman type of shop like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, hey man, what do you think of the Blue Tree?
It just kind of, I guess you could say we were kind of flying around that day in our minds too. So it just kind of formulated perfectly.
And that's the thing. It's like the name. It's like we take our music seriously and we have fun doing it, writing it, and performing it. But it's like when you look at our album artwork, we have fun with that.
Absolutely.
We don't take that seriously, but we have fun, and that's the main thing,
Definitely one of our branding,
the blue tree.
branding staples. We're great guys, but we have serious music.
Serious music's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
It sounds like you're having a lot of fun as well, too, just like that story about how they got AC/DC just off a vacuum cleaner. I mean, I could start a group and call myself the Chevy Camaros or the Buick LaCrosses or something. It's like, pick something and sticks. I think that's the best there is. No need to rack your brains. Or I can just say, hey, I'm going to start the HPs, or I'm going to start the Gmails or something like that. So...
Absolutely.
All right, and we'll talk about some of your influences and more as well as your latest single. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen to over 35 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with the Blue Trees from Birmingham, Alabama. We have on the line James Cody, Jacob Deedham, and Chris Bavacqua, the famous threesome on the line here. And before we get to their latest song, Sex Appeal, which is going to be played very soon as well, too. That'll be coming out. And, of course, we'll be playing Rhythm and Brews later on as well, too. And you also have a CD previously released called Procrastinated Memoirs. Oh, I need some coffee here. But before we get to your works as well, too, tell us some of your favorite artists, singers, and musicians, and also guitarists growing up back in your day.
So, hey, this is Jacob. I guess growing up, influence-wise, like I was saying earlier, I started to listen to a lot of rap, I guess when I was probably in the third grade. My first rap album was Snoop Dogg's Rhythm and Gangsta. And really started listening to a lot of rap, but what was cool is my mom and my dad both come from musical backgrounds as well. And they each had their influences. So my father was really more into the outlaw country, the Merle Haggard, the Waylon Jennings, the things like that. And then my mom was more into Seal, Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, all that kind of stuff. So I'm in the middle with rap, and then ended up discovering the Red Hot Chili Peppers, when I got much older, and really fell in love with their music. And I guess just from having all those backgrounds really combined together to influence my voice and give my voice, Southern rock textures such as, Waylon, to even nowadays some essences of roughness in my voice like Chris Stapleton, to, ideas and melodies that I can do vocally with like Anthony Kiedis and stuff like that does too with the Chili Peppers, to even more of the rap aspect of things. So it's kind of been cool to see how all those influences came together and really helped me dialed in, and just kind of helped bring this band to life too in the ways of vocally and stuff that I was able to contribute to.
That is very interesting. I can imagine the Red Hot Chili Peppers doing some country. I can imagine that nowadays. So
it's all beautiful.
yes, it is. That's right. And I'm going to have to think of some right now later. But guys, either James or Chris, feel free to jump in. And who are some of your favorite artists, singers, musicians, and especially some guitarists or whoever growing up?
Yeah, this is James. So I guess really, I feel like I have to say this because when I first started out as a drummer, like a full set player when I was 12, one of the first songs that I learned to play was Refugee by Tom Petty, and then like Comfortably Numb, like Pink Floyd and all that stuff. And that's really what kind of got me started into like the whole stuff with rock music, like the good stuff that's just so rare nowadays, I feel like. And like I said, Hell's Bells, AC/DC, that was the first stuff I really started learning to play just on my own. I was completely self-taught up until I got to college. And, ever since then, it's like every day I would just come home, spend hours learning music, just playing by ear, playing all these riffs, just learning everything I could. And then naturally, I guess when I got older, kind of like high school age, like 16, 17, Guns N' Roses and Slash became really like it for me. A lot of, my top idols. I got to see Velvet Revolver back in 2007, 7 rows from the front on Slash's side of the stage. And my God, let me tell you, I mean, that was one of the absolute best shows I've been to. As a kid, as a teenager, that just like really got that fire in me even more. It's like, this is it. Like, this is life to me. Like, this is all I want to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I could have died that night and been happy. And like feelings like that, that's just kind of played into really what's made music my continual medicine to get through a lot of stuff in life. And it's just like it's just the essence, and I can't get rid of it. And I'm thankful to be able to do this with other like-minded people, that we can share something that a lot of people don't get to. And, there's a lot of people that, I know wish that they could be musicians and had that, gift. And it's just nice to be able to give that back. So, yeah.
It sounds like you just earned your ticket to rock and roll heaven, rich is good. So we'll see you there one day. And Chris, tell us about your favorite artists, singers, and other musicians growing up.
Some artists and musicians I listened to growing up are a bunch of people from the classical world to the heavy metal world. When I was a kid, I really dove into a lot of pop punk stuff like Green Day, Blink-182, A Day to Remember. And then as I got older, I listened to some more hard rock stuff like Foo Fighters and, Slayer and Metallica and all those guys. And then lately I've been finding myself listening to a lot of more ambient stuff like Muse, and it's more experimental music. But I also have been listening to a lot of funk, like, the Jackson 5, Larry Graham, and Graham Central Station. A lot of Chili Peppers, like Jake said. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I've been trying to take all those sounds and kind of create my own out of it.
It sounds like you're doing a really good job of it and just combining everything together. You mentioned classical earlier as one of your influences as well, too. And who would you say your favorite composer would be, and which composer would be like the biggest influence in you right now?
Oh, I would say from the moment that I started listening to classical to the day I'll die, Beethoven's my favorite. He had a way of taking all of his favorite composers and creating an entirely new style out of music. So it was kind of his inspiration that led to my formulation of what I'm trying to do.
That is interesting. And little did I know that Beethoven took all the composers and combined it into one in his own style. That is interesting. You learn a lot from somebody. I gotta say that. So, all right, we're gonna play one of your songs in just a minute, but first listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and over 35 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with the Blue Trees from Birmingham, Alabama. They've been around since 2015. We have James Tyler Cody, Jacob Deedham, and Chris Bavacqua here with us. Right now we have a new song called Sex Appeal, which is going to be out very shortly right here with the Blue Trees. Here's Sex Appeal on the Mike Wagner Show.
I saw appeal.
That was Sex Appeal from the Blue Trees here on the Mike Wagner Show. That's something brand new coming out. And tell us more about that song and what inspired you to write Sex Appeal.
Oh, man.
Well, I remember the initial idea came, once again, this was back in the spring of 2015. Or actually, it may have been 2016. And, you know, we were hanging out at Jacob's apartment, and I had my acoustic over there, and I think we were going to go somewhere, maybe like go get some drinks or go to the bowling alley or something. But for whatever reason, I decided to just pick the guitar up and put a capo on fret number 6 and started playing the main guitar riff that inspired the song. And of course, Jacob naturally jumps in and says to keep playing that. Yeah. So I know whenever he says that, I know to keep playing something so we can start immediately writing down his thoughts, because that's really very important because he thinks of really good stuff on the spot. So that kind of initially, you know, bore the whole idea of the song itself, and I guess we did a demo of it later that year.
I guess that was, 2016?
Yeah, it was 2016, and it was just, you know, a work tape demo that we had, and it's just one of those songs that we've had for a while. We played live pretty much every show, and we decided to revisit it, and that's this version that, you know, you just heard, and we just really vamped it up, and it's one of my favorite songs personally, because it does have that historical aspect to it, being one of the first songs that we wrote that's kind of stuck with us, and, you know, we're just being ready to release it and stuff. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
Now, will this be part of an album that's coming out as well, too? Will that be released strictly as a single, Sex Appeal?
It's going to be strictly a single for right now. You know, we might end up throwing it on an EP or something down the road, but we really want to push this song specifically as a single because it is such a strong song. Excuse my French. I need some coffee too. But
you can have some of mine here.
Okay, I would take some. Teleport. But
here you go.
It's really come a long way as far as, you know, just developing that song, and even one of our mentors coming up really, you know, just said, I remember that was one of the first songs he commented back on and said, you know, this song is going to do something for y'all one day, and really wanted us to do something with it. We had it, and it had been a couple years gone by, and, you know, we had been talking about going back to it, and it finally was just the right time. And it's amazing to see from the demo tape and to now how far that song has come along, and even how we've made it better. And James has a few more things.
Yeah, and I do want to say, just especially, you know, being in Nashville for the past 3 years, you know, we've been fortunate just to really get to know a lot of great people in the industry. And just one in particular, Jeff Balding, who actually he did the final mix for the song for us, and he helped to co-produce it. Just we're very fortunate to have him, and I consider him just he's been a really good mentor to me personally. So the fact that he wanted to jump on board and he saw our vision, was able to take it to that next step, and just being able to work with him one-on-one is just, it's been great, and we're just so pleased with everything and everyone that's been involved with the project.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It sounds like you got a really good project as well, too. You also released last year or so Procrastinational Memoirs, or it's Procrastinate Memoir, I should say. And tell us more about that one, including the song Rhythm and Blues, which we're going to play at the very end of the show.
Yeah, man. So Procrastinated Memoirs, I know it's a tongue twister. The idea just kind of came from, we were trying to put an album out when we first started, and we had an acoustic thing, then we formed a band, and then we had a demo album. But at that time, we kind of wanted to pitch it to some labels to try to see if we could get any hooks to bite with that and find somebody to release it through. And we didn't really get anything back, and we just kind of were just holding on to a lot of songs. And from that, I guess, next year, it really just started. We started writing some other stuff and really developing our sound. So it was kind of a good thing in disguise. So I guess you could say the procrastination came from waiting to put music out, but it was in a weird way a good procrastination, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like I remember back in 2017, we had a house we were renting over in East Nashville. That's where Rhythm and Blues and a lot of the songs from that album we actually wrote in the living room, and eventually actually recorded a lot of the guitar tracks and vocals in the living room too on that album. So that house has a special place in our hearts, and especially it's tied to that song as well. Yeah. So.
And it sounds like it as well, too. We'll play Rhythm and Blues, before we wrap up and everything here on the Mike Wagner Show. And, just a couple of things with the Blue Trees. You guys have been great. Love to have back on sometime in 2020 and beyond. And speaking of 2020, what are some of the other big plans you got coming up for this year and beyond?
Well, we had some good shows coming up, but good old COVID-19's come in and taken those out, unfortunately. But, as it's been a hard time for a lot of our artist friends and stuff like that too. So respect to them, and keep your grind going and keep your head up. Everybody's going to make it through this. But we have one thing still on the books right now, and it is in June. We're going to be doing a War Trace Music Festival. And we're having Mike Klooster play keys with us. He's been joining us in some stuff and kind of trying to sink him in with a little fish hook and reel him in, so he'll, kind of hopefully maybe one of these days become a good member and stuff and solidness. But he actually plays with the band Smash Mouth, and we met him, I guess, through our artist relations rep. And he's been jamming with us and stuff, and really has brought an excellent keyboard, sound, just an amazing player and stuff to the band, and just cool charisma too whenever he plays shows with us. So that's been a blessing, and hopefully this festival is going to go down in the little town of War Trace, Tennessee. But we're not, everything's kind of up in the air as is, with everything going on. So it's really been, I guess, the highlight of that. And Sex Appeal's coming out May 29th.
We've had some good things on the horizon that are still able to happen despite, the setbacks with, what's going on in society. So, we're grateful that we can actually have something to look forward to. It's like, hey, we got a song coming out at the end of the month, something to share to the world. That's it's a really cool feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool because we've got it. I guess it was really, what's some neat aspects about the band too is James is finishing up his master's in audio technology at Belmont, and so James is able to do all the band's we produce everything. So the stuff that you hear, we've done up until bringing in for Sex Appeal. We had with our older bass player that was with us in Birmingham, helped with a lot of the mixing and stuff on these past albums. But it's been a really cool essence for James to really be able to work on those and add to that too, and all the capabilities he has, and just such a talented mixer and stuff and audio engineer. So it's really cool to have all that aspect to be tied into. But we were able to get, I guess, 6 new songs recorded. So
we got another song we're looking forward to called "Ain't Living Long." It's a cover we do of an old Waylon Jennings song, so that'll be on the horizons at some point.
So it's been really neat. So we've got some stuff in the arsenal still, and Sex Appeal is the first of many good releases and songs we're going to be dropping, going into even 2021 and beyond, too.
That sounds like it, too. We're here with the Blue Trees from Spectra Records out of Birmingham, Alabama, on the Mike Wagner Show. Guys, big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to hearing you again soon. And just a couple of things. Who do you consider your biggest influences in your careers?
This is Jacob. I would definitely say, man, that's a hard one to choose. I would definitely probably say musically the Chili Peppers, because they have inspired me just a tremendous amount. And role models, Tim Tebow's a big role model of mine. I know that's kind of old college football, but just he's just a strong dude and has a heart and has a lot of faith in him, and it just really has been an inspiration in my life to help me be a better person and to grow. And definitely my Lord and Savior up above. He's been there for me and guided me through a lot of things in life. So those are definitely, I'd say, some of my big influences.
And, of course, we got James as well, too.
James here. I'd say definitely I do just want to say more recently, like I said, just having the opportunity to get to know, Jeff Balding here in Nashville. He's just one of the most sought after, producers and engineers in this town, and just to, have him on board and just to really get to know him, just even more on a personal level, just to see how genuine people are in just such an industry that can be just nasty, like entertainment. It's just been so cool to have that positive influence in my life, even coming up now. So I just wanted to say that. But, and, going back again, like musically, Slash has always been like my guy. When his book came out in 2007, it's like a 450-page book. I read the thing like in less than a week, I don't know. But, his whole thing was, and it's like he did things his way, like that's one of his quotes on his book. It's like he learned to play guitar his way. He got clean his way. He's done his life his way. And that's just so cool to me. Just like that spirit of just like when you got something just in you that like is you got to get it out there and you got to do things,
Hell yeah.
That's kind of it for me. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, just having parents that were understanding, growing up. I mean, I remember getting to go to bars when I was 16 to play open mic nights. That was pretty cool. And it's like I always looked forward to Tuesday nights, getting to go out and jam, and that was just so cool. And just to have had that parental support, that's just so great to me. So I'm very grateful for my parents for sure.
And how about you, Chris?
Musical influences, there's a bunch of them, but I would say my top three are Flea, John Paul Jones, and Paul McCartney, probably for bass players. They are just, the embodiment of music, and they just continue to innovate and do great things. As far as myself as a bass player, I really look up to a guy named Mark Rogers. He's been mentoring me a good bit. He's an amazing bass player in town, and he's, always pushing me to be better and really take my playing into my own hands and be a better person with it. So it's cool. I would say those are my main influences right now.
That's fantastic. And lastly, what's the best advice you guys can give to anybody at this time? So, Chris, let's have you start for a change.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one more time?
What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Oh, the best advice I could give, just keep working as hard as you can and, practice every day, because if you want to be the best, you have to be able to perform like the best. So just keep working and grinding.
Mm-hmm. And how about you, James?
Just stay positive and true and genuine. I like to say, if you do good things and you treat people right, that's going to be honored, by God and stuff, and say just keep going.
Mm-hmm. And how about you, Jacob?
Man, I would definitely say perseverance. You got to have that drive and stuff in music, especially because it is a hard business. It's, there's a lot of knockdowns, there's a lot of pick-me-ups, there's a lot of no's, and you have to be able to accept that, but accept it in a way that you could hold your head high and walk out of it and have tough skin, but, being humble through those times is going to make you grow, and it's going to make you a better artist. And most of all, it's going to make you a better person. And, just to have a heart for people. And, James said to treat people right. And definitely I would say if you are in a band, if you're a band leader, keep your band together and, treat them good, treat everybody good, and treat people with respect, because, like a band, especially for us, it's like a family to me. Like these are like my brothers, and it's like I'm sacrificing this time and doing this stuff to have joy and to have the experiences I'm having with them, and it's just great to see how everything's been orchestrated and everything's come together, just even in weird ways. That me and James have the exact same birthday, October 29th. We're just 2 years apart, and it's just kind of cool to see how things like that have unfolded for the band.
There's no coincidence.
Yeah. So definitely just keep the faith and have that perseverance and keep that drive going.
Sounds great, guys. Once again, the Blue Trees from Spectra Records here on the Mike Wagner Show. A big thank you for your time. You guys have been all fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, and where can people purchase and listen to your music?
Yes, sir. So the release is coming up. We got Sex Appeal coming out May 29th, so be ready for that. You can check us out on social medias at The Blue Trees on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And our website is www.bluetreenation.com. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to that and keep up with what's going on and stuff. We'll be dropping some new merch and stuff soon on the site. So, and then the new release on May 29th for Sex Appeal. So thanks again for having us.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, sounds great. Raylan and Bruce is up next from the Blue Trees. A big thank you for your time. You guys have been great. Looking forward to having you in soon. Do us a favor, keep this up to date. We'd love to have you back. You guys have been all fantastic.
Absolutely.
Awesome,
Appreciate it, Mike.
Thank you, dude.
See, Daddy was a fighter and Mama was a writer down at the local news. 12 years old, I made up my mind I would learn to play the blues. I took a puff of the Magic Dragon, baby, and the riffs began to brew. And I sang, hey there, Mr. Rainman, can you teach me some of your blues? I need to get a little higher like a midnight rider, sing that little tune. Like, hey, diddle, diddle, the cat and the fiddle, drop that funky groove. See, I'm gonna get stoned till I can't stand now. Give me some rhythm and blues.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.